Hey guys, I am so excited to be finally starting my Wreck This Journal series on this channel. I am going to be taking the more creative approach, and I know in the new colored edition of Wreck This Journal, Carrie Smith kind of said, don't try to make it pretty. But as John Green would say, books belong to their readers, so I'm going to do what I want with my book since I'm the one who paid for it. So take that, Carrie Smith. So without further ado, let's get started. The first page I decided to work on is the one that says close the journal, write/scribble something on the edges. All I did was use my Crayola Super Tips markers to color one side blue, one side pink, and one side purple. And then I did a darker blue and a darker purple pinkish color in between on the corners. And then I decided to write a quote. And the quote is, "Art wasn't supposed to look nice, it was supposed to make you feel something." And it is a quote by Rainbow Rowell, however you pronounce her name. I decided to do this page first because it would be harder to do later on once the journal is fuller and has more things stuck to the pages. And then to decorate the page itself in the book, I just chose two colors that I liked. I think the pink is the exact same color that I used on the edge of the book, but the tealy color is definitely not the same as what I used on the actual book itself. And then I decided I couldn't just leave it like that. I needed to put something in the background, and I thought, why not galaxy watercolors? So I'm just using a mix of the purples, the blues, and a bit of pink thrown in there. And this paper is very hard to use watercolor on. It just kind of sucks up all the water, and it makes it very difficult to blend anything. So if you are going to use watercolor, just be aware of that. It does not seem to tear up at the page itself, but it just makes it extremely difficult to blend anything. Once I finished with the watercolor background, I let it dry, and then I printed out this Wreck This Journal picture, just of the title, Wreck This Journal, and I cut that out. Then I used some Space Planet washi tape to stick it onto the page, and then after that I took a white gel pen and I added a bunch of dots and little diamond shapes for stars all over the two pages. And I might add something else to this page later on, maybe some glitter or something to fill up the space so it doesn't look just blank background on that left side. But for now, this is what it looks like, and I am very happy with it. The next page I wanted to do was crack the spine, because that's going to happen inevitably anyway as I'm working on the book. And I didn't do anything special, I just picked a page that was in the middle of the book and pulled it all the way open. Then to decorate the page itself, I sketched in pencil a spine, go figure. I'm so original, and now I'm going over it with a Faber-Castell marker pen thing. It's meant for calligraphy, but I find it works really well for outlining things. And fun fact, some of this footage was done on a different camera than I use now, so it's actually a bit worse quality. This episode and the second episode of my Wreck This Journal series will have some footage from that camera, but after that it will all be on what I'm using now. And I do want to go back later on and add maybe some flowers, maybe color it in, or color in the background, but for now this is what it looks like. The next page I decided to do was leave this page blank on purpose, and of course I couldn't just leave the page blank, I had to decorate it somehow. I love Taylor Swift, so all I could think of was blank space. When you bought the 1989 album, it came with these Polaroid pictures of Taylor with lyrics from her various songs from the album written on them. So I chose one that had a line from the song blank space. So it says, "Nice to meet you, where you been?" And my original plan for this page was to use the word blank and try to incorporate that somewhere onto the page. That's why I cut it out. But after I played around with it some more, I decided I wanted to write it in the gel pen instead of using the word that I had cut out. So now I do have this like awkward hole in the back where you can see the back of the Polaroid from. So I ended up deciding to cover up all the words with the picture instead, and to write, "I've got a blank space, baby." I tried to copy the same lettering from the page, and I wrote it out in pencil first, but you can't really see that on camera, and actually it's very hard to see in person. So if you were going to try this, you might want to use something like chalk instead if you wanted to be able to trace anything. And I did use the word blank to try to see where I wanted things laid out on the page. And I actually dressed up like her for Halloween last year. I dressed up as Taylor Swift from her "We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together" music video. I got the squirrel pajamas, and I already have glasses and blonde hair, so I just cut my bangs to look more like hers. And I got one of those red sort of ribbony hair ties, the elasticy ones. And I posted the picture on Instagram, and she liked it and commented on it, which was pretty cool. I was so excited. And I'm going to see her concert this year. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited for the Reputation tour. So this is how the finished page turned out. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm still debating on whether I want to fill in the bubble letters or leave them the way they are. But for now, this is what it looks like, and this brings us to the end of the video. If you liked it and are as excited for this series as I am, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye!